Now we are going to find the solution of one-dimensional wave equation with Dirichlet boundary condition using the method of separation of variable. We have the equation as main equation as equation 1. We have the boundary conditions. We have the initial conditions. Since there is double derivative with respect to time, therefore the initial conditions are 2 as compared when we solve the heat equation where we have single variable with respect to time, single derivative. So we had there the one initial condition. But in order to solve this equation, we need two initial conditions to find the particular solution. Here in wave equation, the u represent the displacement and ut is the displacement differentiated with respect to time, which is the velocity. So this is the initial displacement, this is the initial velocity. Now we solve by assuming our solution as product of two independent variables, which we call the equation number 2, and we differentiate u twice with respect to x to find uxx, and we differentiate u twice with respect to t to get the utt, u sub tt. So with respect to x we get uxx. So if we first differentiate x, we will get the x prime and t will remain constant, so there is no differentiation for the t. And if we again differentiate, we get double prime. So this is the derivative with respect to x, we call it a. Now in order to get the differentiation with respect to t, we differentiate equation 2 with respect to t twice, and by similar procedure we get utt is equal to x of x, and this time x is considered as constant, so we will get the t double prime t, and we call it equation number b. Now putting equation a and b in equation 1, we get a situation like x double prime t of t is equal to t double prime so here we can separate and we can bring all x on one side of equation and all t on other side of equation, and we always say that we put the constant with the t equation. So this give us the result like this 90, and here again we have a problem that x and t are independent of each other, but we see ratio of them are equal. So we say that two independent ratios are equal to each other if and only if they are equal to some constant. So we take here lambda as constant and we say that lambda the constant of separation. So using this expression we have two equations, x double prime minus lambda x is equal to 0, and we have another equation t double prime minus 9 lambda t is equal to 0. So we call it equation number 3, we call it equation number 4. So here we have separated these two variables and make two ordinary differential equation, which is the beauty of the method of separation of variable, that we break our partial differential equation into two ordinary differential equations which are easy to solve. So we start with the equation number 3 to solve, and since we do not know the value of lambda, so we solve equation number 3 for all three cases of lambda, that is lambda is equal to 0, lambda is less than 0, and lambda is greater than 0. So lambda can be 0, lambda can be negative, lambda can be positive. We do not know the nature of lambda so far, so we will see that which case for lambda give us the non-trivial solution. So in order to solve this equation and to find the coefficients, we have to make the new boundary conditions, because the old boundary conditions given to us are for the differential equations and depends on x and t, both variables, but here in equation 3 we have only x, therefore we have to make the new boundary conditions. Now we consider equation number 3 first and make the boundary conditions, make the new boundary conditions for equation 3. So in order to find the new boundary conditions, we take the help of our assumed solution, which was uxt is equal to x of x t of t. So that was our equation number 2, and we put the old boundary conditions in our assumed solution or equation 2. So I write old boundary conditions as or given boundary conditions as u0 t is equal to 0 and u pi t is equal to 0. So first we put the first boundary condition. So putting first boundary condition, we get u0t. When we place x is equal to 0, we place x0 here. So we have t of t here, and this u0t is equal to 0. So now we have a situation that product of two independent term is 0, so one must be 0. So either x0 is equal to 0 or t of t is equal to 0. By the argument that the time factor cannot be 0 because t is equal to 0 is the starting of the experiment. So the whole experiment t is always greater than 0. T start from 0 and is increasing. Therefore, this term cannot be 0 and this term must be 0. So x of 0 is equal to 0 since t of t cannot be 0. So we call it our first new boundary condition. And in order to get the second new boundary condition, we put old second boundary condition in equation 2, which is ux of t is equal to x of x and t of t. So applying boundary condition, we have pi t is equal to x pi t of t, and this u pi of t is equal to 0. By the same argument that the t function cannot be 0, since it is the start of the experiment when t is equal to 0, and then after that the t continues increasing. Therefore, we have no option just to put x of pi is equal to 0. Therefore, this is our second new boundary condition. Now we are able to solve the equation number 3, which is a second order homogeneous linear differential equation. I write the boundary conditions here. X of 0 is equal to 0 and x of pi is equal to 0 here. And now we can start solving equation 3 for 3 cases of lambda, which is lambda is equal to 0, lambda greater than 0 and lambda less than 0. So equation 3 was x double dash minus lambda x is equal to 0. And now if we select lambda is equal to 0 or lambda less than 1 or lambda less than 0 greater than 0, we have 3 different solutions. So the solution of this differential equation represented by x of x is ax plus b. If lambda is putting as 0, it is a exponential kx plus b exponential minus kx if lambda is greater than 0, and it is a cos kx plus b sin kx if lambda is less than 0. Here we replace k, because if lambda is greater than 0, we take lambda is equal to positive k square. Here we have k because if lambda less than 0, we take lambda is equal to minus k square. Now we check equation number 3 for first case of lambda, which is x of x is equal to ax plus b. So we write it as case number 1, lambda is equal to 0. Ax plus b. We apply first boundary condition to get the value of coefficients. So x of 0 is equal to a into 0, x is 0 here, x is 0 here, plus b, and this x of 0 is equal to 0. This implies that b is equal to 0 because a multiplied with 0 vanishes and we get b is equal to 0. Now we again put the second boundary condition in the general solution, which is x of pi is equal to a of pi plus b, and that is equal to 0, and we see that b is 0, which means that a of pi is equal to 0. Now we have a situation that product of two number is 0, so one must be 0, either a 0 or pi 0. Since pi is represented as the length of the string, the length of the string is from 0 to pi, so pi is a non-negative number, and therefore by this argument a is equal to 0. If both of the coefficient of the solution are 0, this means that it is a trivial solution, and the solution lambda is equal to 0 give us the trivial solution, and by using this solution we cannot go further to get any kind of information for the vibration of the string. Therefore we say that lambda is equal to 0 give us the trivial solution. Now we check the second case in which lambda is greater than 0. So we check for case number 2, that is lambda is greater than 0 and we call lambda is equal to plus or positive k square. In that case, the general solution will become a exponential kx plus b exponential minus kx. In order to find the coefficients a and b, we use the boundary conditions. When apply first boundary condition in the general solution, x of 0 is equal to a exponential k, we put x is equal to 0 plus b exponential minus k into 0. And this x of 0 by using boundary condition is equal to 0. So we see that exponential raised to power 0 is 1, exponential raised to power 0 is 1, implies that a plus b is equal to 0 or b is equal to minus a. Then we apply second boundary condition in the general solution. For lambda greater than 0, so it becomes x of pi is equal to a exponential k pi plus b exponential minus k pi, which is equal to 0 because x of pi is equal to 0. So we see that from here a exponential k pi and b is equal to minus a, so we put minus a here and we take this in denominator to positive the power. K pi is equal to 0, and if we take a common, we see that e k pi minus 1 upon e k pi is equal to 0. Here we have a situation like product of two members is 0, a bracket term and a. So which one would be 0? Let's see this exponential term first. We see that we have an exponential which has two positive number. K is taking positive because lambda greater than 0, lambda is equal to positive k square, which means that this k is positive. And pi is the representing the length of the string, which is a non-zero, non-negative number. So anything exponential having some positive number in its power, this term cannot be 0. And these two terms are same. And this is 1 divided by this term. So this 1 upon e must be smaller than this exponential term. So you minus something greater positive and this is something less. So this cannot be a negative number. This must be a positive number because this one is greater, this one is smaller. If you subtract the smaller term into the positive big term, there is still a positive term. So this is a non-zero, which means that a is equal to 0. There is no any other situation that we can save the a. If a is equal to 0, you see that b is equal to minus a, seems b is equal to 0. So for a solution in which both of the coefficients are 0, which means that we cannot go further by using this solution and we cannot find any information. So this solution, we call it the trivial solution, and again we did not get the non-trivial solution so that we can go further. So we say that for the case 2 lambda greater than 0, this differential equation give us the trivial solution. So we will check the third condition, case 3, in which the lambda is less than 0 or lambda is equal to minus k square. So we see case number 3, lambda less than 0 or lambda is equal to minus k square. Lambda less than 0, lambda is equal to minus k square. When lambda is less than 0, the solution satisfies this differential equation is in the form of cos and sine. So this is a cos kx plus b sine kx. To find the values of coefficient, we put the boundary conditions. When we apply first boundary condition in the general solution, the general solution will become x of 0 is equal to a cos k into 0 plus b sine k into 0, and this x of 0 is equal to 0. This gives us a form like cos 0 1, so we have remaining with a, and sine 0 is 0, so this portion vanishes and we have a is equal to 0. Now we apply second boundary condition in general solution, which give us x of pi is equal to a cos k into pi plus b sine k pi is equal to 0, because x of pi is equal to 0. We have seen that a is equal to 0 already, so this portion vanishes and we have b sine k pi is equal to 0. So we have here a situation where product of two members is equal to 0. This is b, this is sine k pi, and product of this is 0, so 1 must be 0. Therefore, if we put b is equal to 0, then a is already 0 and we have no other case remain, so we have to save b, and we do not give any chance to b to become 0, because it will give us the trivial solution and we cannot go further. So in order to save the b, we must assume that sine k pi is equal to 0. And this expression valid only for sine k pi is equal to some sine n pi. So sine k pi is also 0 and sine is 0 if it has value n pi, 1 pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, or generally n pi. From here we can see that sine k pi is equal to sine n pi, then this statement is valid. Sine k pi is equal to sine n pi. From here we see that k is equal to n. If k is equal to n, lambda is equal to minus k square. This means that lambda is equal to minus n square. So we have the value for both lambda and we have the value for k. So we have solved our equation number 3 for the one-dimensional wave equation with Dirichlet type boundary conditions. And now our solution, which gave us the non-trivial solution, was b sine kx. And since we know the value of k, we can put it b sine, since a was 0. So the general solution reduced to this form, and we have b sine nx, where n is equal to 1, 2, 3 and so on. Now by involving n in this solution, there are multiple terms, sine terms here. Therefore each term has its own coefficients. Therefore we have to introduce n here. And now this is a multiple solution. There are several sine terms with several coefficients, so it is no more a single solution like this. So we have to put an n here to show the multiple solutions. There are n solutions because of this n. So this is the solution of equation number 3. We call it C. Now we are going to find the solution for equation number 4. So considering equation number 4, which was t prime minus lambda t is equal to 0. In the case of wave equation, this is no more but the second order homogeneous linear differential equation like the x1. So we have no problem for writing the solution for this equation, and since the non-trivial solution exists for the x equation, equation number 3, for lambda less than 0 or lambda is equal to minus k square, therefore we are not going to find all three cases of lambda for this equation, and we write the solution for the lambda is less than 0. So if lambda is less than 0 or lambda is equal to minus k square, then the equation will take the form the solution will be a cos 3, since lambda is equal to minus k square, so there will be 3kx plus b sine 3kx. And as we know that k can be replaced by n, since we have already known, so we can write this equation as a cos 3, sorry, this is not x, this is t, 3kt and 3kt here. So we have 3nt plus b sine 3 and t, where n is equal to 1, 2, 3 and so on. Since there is n which shows the multiple sine terms, so each sine term has its own coefficient, we have to write n here, and here again we have cos terms, n cos terms, so each cos term has its own coefficient. Because of these n terms, this is also a multiple solution and we have to put the n here. Now this is the equation number D, and we needed these x of x and t of t in order to find the equation number 2, the solution, assumed solution. Therefore now we are able to put c and d in equation number 2. Equation number 2 becomes when we put the x solution, it will be bn sine nx into t of t becomes an cos 3n t plus bn. So we have to differentiate this b from this b. So we call it Cn and we call it Dn. So here we put D, we will put C. So therefore this will become C and this will become D. Sine 3nt. Now since these are the multiple solutions because of the inclusion of n, this solution is also consists of several solutions, so we have to put n here which shows the multiple solutions. As we are dealing with linear homogeneous equation, we can use the superposition principle now, which says that the sum of the solutions is also a solutions. So since we have a sequence of solutions because of the inclusion of n, so we can sum up these solutions and write it in a single solution form. So by using superposition principle, which says that sum of all solutions is also a solution, we can write this solution as single solution uxt is equal to, and we sum it up all. And before summing up, we are going to multiply this one inside it and combine the coefficient bn and cn. So we call bn as and pn and cn as a small bn. So we have bn sine nx. So first we just simplify it, nx cos 3nt plus dn and bn combined with small dn, and this is sine nx sine 3nt. And now we sum the solutions, n is equal to 1 to infinity. This is a single solution, and we have got our general solution. In order to find the particular solution, we have to find the value of the coefficients bn and dn. And after this step, when we have got the general solutions, we need some more information from the situation so that we can find the value of coefficients. So there are initial conditions serves for this purpose, and since we have two coefficients here, so we need two initial conditions, which we have found that in the given question we have initial displacement and initial velocity as the initial conditions. So the next step is to put the initial conditions in the general solution. We call this general solution as equation number 5, and we put the initial conditions in the equation number 5. Now, in order to get the particular solution, we need to put the initial condition in equation number 5, and when we put the initial condition given to us, let me write the initial condition here. It was a piecewise function, so u x of 0 is equal to f of x, and second initial condition was ut x of 0 is equal to 0, and the f of x here is x and pi minus x for a range where x is less than pi by 2, greater than 0, 0 to pi by 2, f of x is x, and from pi by 2 to pi, f of x is pi minus x. So when we put the initial condition in the equation number 5, which means we put t is equal to 0, and when we put t is equal to 0 in the solution, Pn sine nx cos 3n 0 plus dn sine nx sine 3n into 0, and this is all equal to f of x. So cos 0 is 1, sine 0 is 0, so the whole term vanished, and we are left with the situation where summation n is equal to 1 to infinity. This is Pn sine nx is equal to f of x. Now the situation is almost similar when we use the initial conditions in the heat equation. Then we have to find the value of Bn, and we use the orthogonality relationship. So Bn zero to pi sine nx sine mx dx is equal to 0 to pi sine mx f of x dx. So we multiply both sides by 0 to pi sine mx dx, and we expand this integral. We know that this integral will give the half of the limit when m is equal to n. So I write it here, 0 to pi sine mx sine nx dx is equal to either 0 if m is not equal to n, and it is the half of the limit, which is pi, so pi by 2 when m is equal to n. So when we expand this one, then there is only one value in which m will equal to n. So for that value we have got the result pi by 2. For the all other terms, all other integrals, it will be 0. So we are leaving with pi by 2, all the terms are 0, and 0 to pi sine. Since this result obtained on m is equal to n, so we can replace m which means that Bn is basically equal to 2 upon pi and this integral, which is sine nx f of x dx. Now we can put the value of f of x for the different limits. So we have Bn is equal to 2 upon pi. So if we break the limit from 0 to pi by 2 sine nx f of x plus pi by 2 to pi sine nx f of x dx and dx. So 2 upon pi is with the both. Now for 0 to pi by 2, f of x has the value x, and for pi by 2 to pi, f of x is pi minus x. So we can write it as 2 upon pi, and we have 0 to pi by 2, f of x is x sine nx dx plus pi by 2 to pi is pi minus x into sine nx dx. These are the simple integrals now, but we have actually three integrals. One is x sine nx, the second one is pi sine nx, and the other one is x sine nx dx. Now by using this bn, when we found the integral, then the solution we obtained, the particular solution would be uxt is equal to 4 upon pi summation k is equal to 1 to infinity minus 1 k minus 1 into 2k minus 1 whole square, a sine term which appeared in the general solution, in which n is replaced with 2k minus 1, and the cos term